In a world addicted to noise, silence becomes your secret weapon. Think about it everywhere you go. Someone is talking, posting, arguing, or trying to prove a point. The world screams for attention, but the ones who rise above it all, the disciplined, the focused, the wealthy, the powerful move differently. They move in silence. Napoleon Hill warned, "Tell the world what you intend to do, but first show it," because silence protects your energy, your vision, and your strategy. When you stop broadcasting every thought, every plan, every move, something incredible happens. Life starts flowing in your favor. Why? Because silence is not weakness. Silence is focus. Silence is control. Silence is the space where clarity is born, where creativity flows, and where confidence becomes unshakable. The man who can sit quietly with himself is the man who cannot be broken by others. Most people lose because they can't resist the urge to talk, to defend, to overshare. They give away their power for free. But those who master silence, they don't need to prove anything. They let their results speak. Their success echoes louder than any speech. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to unlock the hidden law of silence, how to protect your energy, how to build focus, and how to make silence your greatest ally. This isn't about being passive. It's about being powerful. It's about becoming untouchable in a world full of noise. Are you ready? Then let's step into the power of silence and watch how everything begins to flow in your favor. There is an unwritten law of success that few people talk about. Yet it separates those who build legacies from those who merely make noise. I call it the hidden law of silence. It is the law that says when you speak less, you see more. When you reveal less, you achieve more. When you master silence, you master yourself and the world bends in your favor. Think about this truth. Most men waste their energy in endless talking. They reveal their plans to people who do not care. They defend themselves against critics who do not matter. And they speak just to fill the air. And in doing so, they give away their power. They leak their focus. They dilute their momentum. But the man who practices silence keeps his energy concentrated like a laser beam. And the concentrated beam cuts through steel. Silence is focused success, demands discipline and focus. You cannot build wealth, a business, or even a strong body if your energy is scattered. Every time you overshare, explain, or justify, you lose the concentration required for high performance. Silence creates space. It sharpens the mind. It gives you the ability to listen not just to others, but to yourself, to your intuition, to the quiet whispers of opportunity that most people miss because they are too busy talking. Great leaders throughout history have known this law. They listened more than they spoke. They studied before they acted, and when they finally spoke, their words carried power because they were rare, intentional, and disciplined. Silence protects your vision. Have you ever noticed how quickly dreams can be killed the moment you share them with the wrong person? One careless comment, one skeptical laugh, one word of doubt can infect your mind like poison. That is why you must guard your vision in silence until it is strong enough to stand on its own. Napoleon Hill himself said, "Tell the world what you intend to do, but first show it." That means results speak louder than promises. Keep your plan private. Work in silence. Let your success announce itself. When you adopt this principle, you protect your energy from negativity and keep your momentum flowing. Silence builds self-control. Self-control is the foundation of mental toughness. The man who cannot control his tongue cannot control his life. Every time you react emotionally, every time you argue to prove a point, every time you expose more than you should, you lose ground. But when you choose silence, you choose mastery in silence. You train your ability to pause before reacting. You give yourself the advantage of time, clarity, and strategy. And that pause, that single moment of restraint, often determines whether you win or lose in business, relationships, and life. Silence attracts success. The law of attraction is not just about what you visualize. It is also about what you withhold. Silence raises your vibration because it keeps you from wasting energy on low-value conversations, gossip, or negativity. Instead, you conserve that energy and direct it toward building, creating, and achieving. And when your actions are consistent and disciplined, success flows toward you naturally. There is a reason wealthy men are often quiet. They are not hiding, they are observing. They are positioning themselves. They are letting their results, not their words, speak for them. Silence creates authority. When you speak less, your words gain weight. People lean in, they pay attention. Silence makes you appear confident, composed, and in control. And in a world full of noise, control is magnetic. The loudest man in the room is rarely the most powerful. The quiet man, the man who holds his words like gold, commands respect without demanding it. Practical steps to apply the hidden law 1. Practice the 24-hour rule. When you feel the urge to share a plan or react emotionally, wait 24 hours. If it is still worth saying after the wait, say it. If not, silence has already saved you. 2. Build silent hours into your day. Block out at least one period daily where you turn off devices, shut out noise, and sit in pure stillness. Use it for reflection, planning, or simply observing your thoughts. 3. Stop explaining yourself. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Your energy is too valuable to waste on convincing doubters. Let your actions prove them wrong. 4. Observe before you speak. In meetings, relationships, negotiations, listen first. Silence gives you information. Information gives you power. 5. Celebrate in silence. Don't announce every win on social media or to casual friends. Protect your blessings. Share only with those who truly matter. The discipline of the untouchable. When you master silence, you become untouchable. People can insult you, and you do not react. They can doubt you, and you do not justify. They can try to pull you into drama, but you remain calm, disciplined, and focused. And in that calmness, you rise above them. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is strategy. Silence is confidence. Silence is wealth. The man who practices the hidden law of silence becomes a magnet for opportunities because he is no longer distracted by noise. His vision sharpens. His self-control strengthens. His actions multiply. And the world flows in his favor. The hidden law of silence is the foundation for building focus, discipline, and a wealth mindset. Master it. and you shift from chasing success to attracting it, break it. And you scatter your energy into the noise of the world. Your energy is your most valuable currency. Spend it wisely, and you create wealth, freedom, and opportunity. Waste it, and you fall into distraction, confusion, and mediocrity. Yet most people give their energy away too freely. They hand out their vision like candy to anyone who asks. They reveal their goals to people who cannot help them. And worse, to people who secretly hope they fail. The truth is simple. Not everyone deserves access to your plans. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it is survival. It is the discipline that separates the dreamers from the doers, the average from the exceptional. Energy is the fuel of wealth. Every great success story, every empire, every innovation began with a man or woman who learned how to protect their energy. When you understand that energy is finite, you begin to treat it with respect. A distracted man can never create wealth. A focused man, disciplined in guarding his time and his thoughts, becomes unstoppable. Think of your energy like water in a reservoir. If you allow everyone to dip their cup into it, the reservoir will be empty long before you can use it to grow crops, power machinery, or quench your own thirst. But when you guard it, preserve it, and direct it with intention, it becomes life-giving. It multiplies. Why? You must protect your vision. When you share your plans with the wrong people, you invite their doubts, their fears, and their limitations into your mind. This is dangerous because the subconscious mind is highly impressionable. Napoleon Hill taught that your subconscious accepts what it is repeatedly fed. If you let others speak fear into your vision, you are planting weeds in the garden of your mind. Protecting your vision is a form of self-control. It is the practice of deciding who gets access to your thoughts and who does not. Not every friend, not every family member, not every colleague is meant to know your next move. Many will not understand it. Some will mock it. Others may even attempt to sabotage it. When you stay silent, you protect your vision from contamination. You give it time to grow roots before exposing it to the winds of doubt. Noise drains, silence sustains. There is a reason the wealthiest men are rarely seen bragging about their next venture. They know that silence protects momentum. They operate in discipline. They understand that every conversation carries an energy exchange. Some conversations fuel you, most drain you. Ask yourself, how much energy do you lose every day by explaining yourself, defending your choices, or trying to convince others to believe in your dream? That is wasted power. That is power you could be using to create, build, and move forward. Energy vampires. You must also recognize the reality of energy vampires, those people who drain you with their doubts, complaints, or negativity. They are quick to say, "That's impossible," or "Be realistic," or "What if you fail?" Understand this, their words are not about you. They are about their own limitations. But if you allow them access to your vision, you begin to carry their limitations as your own. Protect your energy by limiting exposure. You do not need to argue. You do not need to fight. Simply withhold your plans. Silence is the shield. Protecting energy is mental toughness. Protecting your energy is not about running away from people. It is about having the mental toughness to create boundaries. High performance requires clear boundaries. What you will allow and what you will not You do not owe an explanation for your ambition. You do not owe a defense for your discipline. You do not owe permission to anyone for your dreams. The man who guards his energy becomes a fortress. He is calm, focused, and dangerous to mediocrity. He does not let gossip, criticism, or distractions enter his mind. He stays aligned with his purpose and refuses to let anything dilute it. Practical ways to protect your energy. 1. Stop announcing everything. Let your actions prove your intentions. Success speaks louder than declarations. 2. Filter conversations. Not every conversation deserves your energy. If it drains you, walk away. 3. Audit your circle. Who feeds your vision, who steals from it, keep the first. Limit the second. 4. Reserve your silence. Protect your sacred ideas until they are strong enough to stand without defense. 5. Daily energy check. Each morning, never decide where your energy will go. Treat it like investment capital. Allocate it only where returns are highest, from noise to focus. When you stop giving your plans to everyone, you conserve strength for execution. You shift from talking about dreams to living them. You embody the principle of discipline and focus. This is how silence transforms into power, by keeping you centered on creation rather than explanation. In the end, protecting your energy is about respect. Respect for your time, respect for your mind, respect for your future. Once you master this, you will find that life begins to flow in your favor. Why? Because energy flows where focus goes. Protect it, and you will attract success naturally. Waste it, and you will forever chase what should have been yours. Not everyone deserves access to your plans. Guard your energy like treasure. Conserve your power. Use your silence as a weapon, and you will see how quickly opportunities begin to seek you out, because the man who protects his energy cannot be stopped. The world does not reward promises. It rewards proof. It rewards results. It rewards the man who does not waste his breath announcing what he will do, but instead demonstrates what he has done. In a society addicted to talk, those who practice the discipline of action over words become rare, respected, and ultimately successful. Think of how often you hear people say, "I'm going to start my business. I'll get serious next year. One day I'll be wealthy, fit, or disciplined," but years later, their words echo the same, while their lives remain unchanged. Why? Because words without action are empty currency. They buy nothing. They build nothing. They change nothing. Discipline is the bridge. Discipline is the bridge between intention and reality. Anyone can talk about wealth, goals, and dreams, but it is only the man who acts consistently day after day, even when tired, even when uninspired, that builds a future worth living. Promises require no sacrifice. Action requires sweat, focus, and persistence. That is why most people stop at words. But you must decide, will you be the man of noise or the man of proof results? Speak in silence. One of Napoleon Hill's timeless truths is this: tell the world what you intend to do, but first show it. This principle is more relevant today than ever when you focus on action instead of endless talking. 3 things happen. 1, you build credibility. People stop doubting you because results cannot be argued with. 2, you conserve energy. Talking drains energy. Doing multiplies it. 3, you attract opportunities Success attracts success. When people see results, they want to partner, invest, and follow. A man of results does not need to convince anyone. His life is his argument. His consistency is his marketing. His discipline is his proof. Why action outweighs words. Words cost nothing. That's why people speak them carelessly. Action costs discipline. That's why so few commit. Result pay dividend. That's why only a select few rise to the top. When you choose action over words, you install self-control. You resist the temptation to announce every move and instead direct your energy into execution. This builds a wealth mindset, one that values focus, integrity, and momentum over approval and applause. Consistency creates confidence. Confidence does not come from motivational talk. It comes from evidence. Every time you act on your word, you build trust with yourself. Every time you keep a promise through action, you reinforce your belief that you are capable. This is why consistency is the ultimate success hack. A single action can inspire you, but only repeated. Disciplined action builds confidence that cannot be shaken. When you act consistently, you reprogram your subconscious mind to believe I am a man who finishes what he starts. That belief is magnetic. It attracts success because success respects integrity. Practical steps to let results speak. 1. Set fewer goals. Do more work. Stop scattering your energy across 10 promises. Focus on 1-2 clear goals and act relentlessly. 2. Replace announcements with execution. Next time you feel like telling the world your plans, ask yourself, could I put that same energy into action instead? 3. Track your proof. Journal your daily actions. Record results. Let numbers, progress, and outcomes be your language. 4. Develop rituals, not excuses. High performers build habits that do not depend on mood. Your rituals will carry you when motivation fades. 5. Celebrate quietly. Build continuously. Success is not a finish line. Keep moving. Let silence be your crown and results your reputation. The wealth mindset of doers. The wealthiest individuals in the world did not announce every idea. They worked in silence, built in discipline, and revealed only when proof could no longer be ignored. Their mindset was anchored in persistence, consistency, and execution, not in applause. When you master this principle, you will notice something. You no longer need external validation. You no longer seek approval. You feel secure because your results speak louder than any compliment or criticism. This is the mark of true self-control and mental toughness. Your life is your evidence. At the end of the day, the only proof that matters is your life, your bank account, your relationships, your health, your discipline. All of these are results of your daily actions. No one cares about what you said you would do. They care about what you built, what you delivered, what you became. Action is the highest form of self-respect. Results are the loudest declaration of faith, and silence, combined with consistent execution, is the most powerful magnet for success you will ever hold. When results speak, you never need to defend yourself. Stop talking. Start acting. Build quietly, consistently, and with discipline. Let your results declare your greatness. This is how you shift from promises to proof. from noise to influence, from wishful thinking to true wealth. The difference between a man who controls his destiny and a man who is controlled by circumstances often comes down to one thing: the pause, that brief moment between stimulus and response, between provocation and reaction, between emotion and decision. That is where power lives. Most people are slaves to their impulses. Someone insults them, and they lash back. A deal goes wrong, and they panic. A problem arises, and they crumble in frustration. These reactions cost them opportunities, respect, and progress. The man who practices restraint, however, becomes untouchable. His self-control gives him clarity. His discipline turns chaos into order. His pause transforms potential disaster into advantage. Why restraint equals power? Reacting is easy. It requires no thought, no discipline, no control. But reacting impulsively is also expensive. It costs relationships, reputations, and results. Restraint, on the other hand, is the mark of emotional intelligence. It is the ability to feel the heat of anger, the sting of criticism, or the weight of stress, and yet not surrender to it. To pause, to breathe, to think. That is real strength. A man who cannot master his emotions will never master his future. But the man who practices the discipline of restraint develops a wealth mindset that attracts success and commands respect. The science of the pause. Your brain is wired to respond quickly to threats. This is survival instinct. But in modern life, most threats are not lions or tigers. They are emails, arguments, or financial setbacks. The impulse is still the same: fight, flee, or freeze. The pause interrupts this autopilot. It shifts your mind from reaction to response. Instead of letting emotion hijack your decision-making, if you engage the higher faculties of reason, strategy, and foresight, this is not weakness. This is discipline. This is mental toughness in action. How the wealthy use restraint. Look at every great leader, investor, or entrepreneur. What do they share? Calmness under pressure. While others panic in crisis, they pause, they calculate, they move deliberately. That pause is their competitive edge. When markets crash, the impulsive man sells in fear. The disciplined man waits, studies, and buys at a discount. When insulted, the impulsive man argues. The wise man stays silent, keeping his energy intact and his reputation clean. When challenged, the impulsive man reacts emotionally. The high performer responds strategically, turning obstacles into opportunities. This is the discipline of restraint, the ability to hold your fire until the right moment, and then strike with precision. Practical ways to master the pause. 1. Breathe before speaking. Train yourself to take one deep breath before responding to provocation. This resets your nervous system and gives your mind clarity. 2. Count to 10. A simple but powerful method to shift from emotional reaction to thoughtful response. 3. Reframe the situation. Ask, will this matter in a week, a year, 5 years? Most things don't. 4. Channel the energy. Instead of exploding outward, direct the emotion into constructive action writing, exercise, or problem solving. 5. Install rituals of calm, meditation, journaling, or silent reflection. Strengthen your pause muscle, making restraint automatic under stress. Restraint builds respect. The man who restrains himself gains control over others not through force, but through presence. People trust him because he does not panic. They respect him because he does not waste energy on drama. They follow him because his decisions are measured, not reckless. Restraint is also contagious. In heated discussions, your calmness can disarm tension and shift the atmosphere. Your ability to stay composed becomes a model for others, amplifying your influence from emotion to execution. The discipline of restraint is not about denying your emotions. It is about mastering them. Feel anger, but do not be consumed by it. Feel fear, but do not let it dictate your steps. Feel excitement, but do not leap blindly. This is the art of emotional intelligence, using your emotions as signals, not shackles. The wealthy do not suppress emotion, they channel it. They transform impulses into intentional action. They practice self-control until it becomes second nature. The pause is your weapon. In silence, you gain leverage. While others rush, you see clearly. While others waste energy, you conserve it. While others react, you respond. That single pause, the moment of discipline, can change the entire outcome of a situation. The world will test you. People will provoke you. Life will throw obstacles in your path. But remember this truth: your power lies not in reacting to the noise, but in mastering the pause before you move. Restraint is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. The man who pauses before reacting becomes the master of himself, and therefore the master of his future. Practice restraint, and you will move with precision, build with discipline, and lead with authority. This is how silence becomes your greatest power. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is magnetism. It is the invisible force that draws to you the very things others chase in vain: wealth, opportunities, and respect. While most people fill the air with noise, announcements, and empty promises, the man of silence becomes a magnet. His energy speaks louder than his words. His presence commands attention without begging for it. His focus becomes irresistible to success itself. The energy of quiet power. Every word you speak releases energy. Every word you waste diminishes that energy. When you live in constant chatter, explaining, boasting, or defending yourself, you scatter your power. But when you embrace silence, your energy concentrates like a magnet charged with purpose. It begins to attract instead of chase. This is the law of attraction in its purest form. Your inner frequency creates your outer reality. The silent man vibrates with self-control, clarity, and confidence. He does not need to broadcast his vision. His energy broadcasts it for him. Wealth follows focus. Wealth does not flow to the man who talks the most. It flows to the man who focuses the deepest. Silence sharpens focus. It removes distractions. It channels your mind into creation, not explanation. Think of every empire built in history. Behind the scenes were long hours of silence, planning, thinking, strategizing. Great fortunes were not made in noise. They were made in quiet rooms, by men who knew how to keep their plans private until their results were undeniable. When you learn to use silence as a discipline, so you begin to align with the wealth mindset, conserve energy, protect focus, and direct all thought toward growth, opportunities are attracted. Not chased noise repels. Silence attracts. When you broadcast your every move, you invite envy, competition, and sabotage. But when you move quietly, opportunities flow toward you. Why? Because people respect mystery. They sense strength in restraint. They feel drawn to the man who does not beg for attention but naturally commands it. The noisy man must convince. The silent man makes others curious. The noisy man looks desperate. The silent man looks powerful. Opportunities love silence because silence signals control, and control is rare in a chaotic world. Respect through silence. Respect is not earned by shouting louder. It is earned by showing restraint. A man who speaks less but achieves more becomes unshakable in reputation. His silence says, I am too focused to explain myself. Watch my results. When you stop defending yourself, people notice. When you stop boasting, people start respecting. When you let your actions, wealth, and discipline speak louder than your words, people listen. This is why silence is a weapon. It makes your words rare and therefore valuable. It transforms you from just another talker into a man whose voice carries weight. Practical ways to harness silent magnetism. 1. Guard your plans. Share your moves only after they are done. Mystery multiplies power. 2. Control your speech. Speak less. Listen more. Every word you withhold adds weight to the ones you speak. 3. Create silent hours. Dedicate time each day to thinking, planning, and visualizing without noise or distraction. 4. Master your energy. Remember, your presence is louder than your words. Carry yourself with confidence, discipline, and integrity. 5. Respond with calm. When provoked, stay silent first. Your restraint will intimidate critics and impress allies. Silence tunes you to the success frequency. Noise is chaos. Silence is alignment. When you embrace silence, you begin to hear what others cannot, the whispers of intuition, the pull of divine intelligence, the strategy hidden in stillness. Opportunities are often subtle. They do not shout. They knock quietly. Only the man tuned to silence hears them. Only the disciplined man, undistracted by noise, seizes them. This is why silence is not just the absence of sound, it is the presence of power. It tunes your mind to the frequency of success, wealth, and respect. Your magnetic presence. Imagine walking into a room without saying a word, yet commanding attention. Imagine building wealth without announcing your every move, yet attracting investors, partners, and opportunities. Imagine living in such discipline that people trust you without you needing to convince them. That is the power of silence as a magnet. It is not arrogance. It is not withdrawal. It is focused energy, restrained speech, and disciplined presence. It is the wealth mindset in motion. When you embrace silence, you stop chasing and start attracting. You become magnetic. Wealth flows to your focus. Opportunities seek your presence. Respect follows your discipline. Remember, noise is cheap. Silence is priceless. And the man who learns to master silence becomes unstoppable. True power is not measured by how loud you speak, but by how calm you remain when the world trembles. The man who conquers himself, his emotions, his impulses, his fear is far more powerful than the man who conquers cities. Inner peace is the foundation of outer power. Without stability inside, you will always be unstable outside. You can earn wealth and lose it in a moment of panic. You can build relationships and destroy them in a moment of rage. You can design strategies and sabotage them with a moment of doubt. But when silence teaches you inner calm, your power becomes unshakable, the wealth of stability. Most men live like boats without anchors, tossed around by every wave of circumstance. A bad day at work ruins their focus. A negative comment ruins their confidence. A small delay makes them quit. Why? Because they lack inner stability. Silence, practiced daily, builds that anchor. It roots you in clarity. It stabilizes your emotions. It transforms you from being a reactor to being a creator. And once you are anchored inside, the storms outside no longer dictate your destiny. This is why Napoleon Hill often emphasized definiteness of purpose. Without stability, as you drift. With stability, you persist until success bends to your will. Resilience. Born in quiet, resilience is not built in the noise of applause or the chaos of distraction. It is built in the quiet hours, those moments of solitude where you face your doubts, your failures, and your fears. Silence gives you the space to process pain without panic, to study setbacks without self-pity, to rise again without bitterness. It turns obstacles into teachers and delays into preparation. The man who spends time in silence learns that resistance is not punishment, it is training. Resilience is forged in silence because silence teaches you not to depend on external noise for strength. Your strength becomes internal, self-sustaining, and permanent. Emotional control creates authority. Leadership and influence belong to the man who controls his emotions. People trust stability. They are drawn to calmness. They respect composure. Think about it. Would you trust a leader who screams at every setback or a businessman who panics at every market shift? Of course not. But the man who stays steady even under fire commands authority. Silence is the training ground of emotional control. It is in stillness that you learn to regulate your breathing, your thoughts, your reactions. The more you master this, the more unshakable you become in the eyes of others. Practical steps to build inner peace. 1. Silent mornings. Begin your day with 10 minutes of silence before the world invades your mind. This sets the tone of stability. 2. Pause before reacting. When provoked, wait in silence. Count your breath. Respond only when calm. 3. Guard your energy. Avoid unnecessary arguments. Gossip or noise. Protect your focus like treasure. 4. Practice gratitude in silence. Reflect on 3 blessings each day without distraction. Gratitude stabilizes your mind. 5. Build routines. Stability is not a feeling, it's a system. Create daily rituals that keep your inner world calm. No matter the chaos outside, outer power is the echo of inner calm. When your inner world is peaceful, your outer world aligns. Deals flow easier. Relationships deepen. Decisions become clearer. Success feels natural. Why? Because people are drawn to stability. Your silence radiates confidence. Your calmness projects strength. Your stability becomes the foundation upon which wealth influence, and legacy are built. Silence is not escape. It is strategy. It is the discipline that forges inner peace, which becomes outer power. The man who stabilizes his mind cannot be broken by markets, critics, or circumstances. He becomes a pillar in a chaotic world, and that pillar attracts wealth, respect, and opportunity, because the universe always rewards stability. If silence makes you magnetic to wealth, it also makes you magnetic to people. Influence does not come from talking the most, it comes from listening the deepest. The man who knows how to stay silent and truly hear others will always command more respect, loyalty, and connection than the man who interrupts, argues, or tries to dominate every conversation. Why listening is power. Most people listen only to reply, not to understand. They are waiting for their turn to speak, not absorbing what is being said. This is why so many leaders fail. They speak endlessly, but hear nothing. But silence flips the equation. When you stop talking and begin listening actively, you communicate something far greater than words: respect. And respect is the gateway to influence. People trust the one who hears them. They feel drawn to the one who validates their thoughts. They follow the one who listens with intent. The secret of empathy, silence, gives birth to empathy. By holding your tongue and observing, you notice more the tone of voice, the choice of words, even the emotions behind the silence of others. You become attuned not just to what is said, but to what is unsaid. This is why great leaders, coaches, and entrepreneurs rise above others. They use silence to study people. They ask questions, then listen carefully. In doing so, they discover hidden desires, unspoken fears, and real opportunities. Empathy builds trust, and trust builds influence. How silence commands respect. Think about the last time someone cut you off mid-sentence. Did you feel respected? Of course not. But when someone gave you the space to finish your thought without rushing, you felt valued. That's the power of silence. When you choose to listen instead of argue, you demonstrate strength. When you withhold unnecessary words, you make the words you do speak far more impactful. People learn that when you talk, it matters. This is why silence is not weakness, it is authority. It trains people to respect your presence. Practical steps to master the listening advantage. 1. Pause before responding. Don't rush to fill the silence. Let the other person finish completely. 2. Ask more. Talk less. Use questions to draw out deeper thoughts from others. Then stay silent and listen. 3. Observe beyond words. Pay attention to body language, tone, and energy, often louder than speech. 4. Acknowledge without over-explaining. Sometimes a nod, a simple "I understand," or thoughtful silence communicates more than a long answer. 5. Save your voice for impact. Speak only when your words can add value, not just noise. Influence built on silence. Business partnerships are won by the man who listens more than he pitches. Relationships are strengthened by the one who hears more than he demands. Leadership is established by the man who understands before he instructs. The man of silence influences not because he tries to control others, but because he makes others feel heard, respected, and understood. And in a world where everyone wants to talk, this discipline makes you unforgettable. Silence transforms conversations into connections and listening into influence. It makes people trust you, respect you, and follow you without resistance. Remember, talking proves what you already know, but listening reveals what you could learn. The man who listens with intent becomes the man others cannot ignore. Not every battle is meant to be fought, and not every word is meant to be spoken. The man who learns to stay silent when provoked, criticized, or misunderstood is the man who keeps his energy for the real war, the war to fulfill his vision. Silence is not only wisdom, it is a shield. The leaks that drain your power. Every time you argue over small matters, you give away your energy. Every time you explain yourself to those who doubt you, you leak power. Every time you share your dreams with people who do not believe in them, you invite sabotage. Your energy is your greatest currency if you spend it on gossip, criticism, or defending yourself to skeptics. You have nothing left for building wealth, creating value, or pursuing your vision. Silence closes those leaks. It protects you from wasting strength on battles that do not matter. Why silence preserves vision? Most dreams die not because they are impossible, but because they are shared with the wrong people too early. When you reveal your plans to doubters, they plant seeds of fear in your mind. When you share too much with competitors, they use your vision against you. This is why Napoleon Hill often said, "Tell the world what you intend to do, but first, show it." Silence gives your vision time to grow roots. You nurture it in private until it is strong enough to withstand public scrutiny. A tree grows in silence before it bears fruit in public. Your vision requires the same guarding energy in a noisy world. In today's world, noise is everywhere. Notifications, arguments, gossip, distractions. Each one is designed to pull you away from your focus. But when you discipline yourself to stay silent, you build an invisible shield. You are no longer disturbed by every opinion. You are no longer shaken by every headline. You learn to guard your energy the way a millionaire guards his bank account. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it is strategic, because without energy, you cannot create. Without focus, you cannot manifest. Practical ways to use silence as a shield. 1. Stop explaining yourself. You owe no explanations to those who doubt you. Your results will speak louder than words. 2. Avoid gossip. Refuse to waste energy discussing other people's failures. Redirect that energy toward your own growth. 3. Choose your circle wisely. Share your vision only with those who uplift, believe, and empower you. 4. Use silence in conflict. Instead of reacting emotionally, hold your peace. Time reveals truth more effectively than words. 5. Create boundaries. Protect your focus hours. Turn off distractions. Treat your mental space like sacred ground. Strength in withholding. Many believe power comes from speaking more, explaining more, convincing more. In reality, the strongest men are those who can withhold. They can hear criticism without reacting, receive doubt without defending, and stay calm when others lose control. This discipline doesn't make you passive, it makes you untouchable. Because while others waste energy in noise, you conserve yours for the moves that matter, the moves that change your future. Silence is your shield against distraction, doubt, and destruction. It preserves your energy, protects your vision, and keeps your focus locked on what truly matters. Remember, those who waste energy trying to prove themselves never reach greatness. But the man who guards his energy through silence becomes unstoppable. Noise blinds the mind. Silence sharpens it. In the chaos of constant voices, opinions, and distractions, most people are unable to think deeply enough to see opportunities. They are too busy reacting, too busy scrolling, too busy talking. But the man who cultivates silence builds a mental lens so sharp that he can see what others cannot. The gift of clarity. When your world is noisy, your thoughts scatter. You jump from one idea to another, from one problem to the next, never finishing anything, never seeing the full picture. But silence is like wiping a foggy window clean. Suddenly, the path ahead becomes clear. Clarity is power. A vague thinker produces vague results. A clear thinker produces precise, powerful outcomes. Silence is the foundation of that clarity. It gives you the space to analyze, to weigh, and to decide without pressure. Decision-making in silence. The wealthiest men are not always the most educated. They are the clearest decision makers. They know how to cut through noise, filter distractions, and choose with confidence. When you retreat into silence, you remove the external voices that create doubt. You are no longer reacting to fear or peer pressure. You are consulting your own intuition, your inner wisdom, the God-given intelligence within. Great fortunes have been made because a man dared to be silent long enough to think while everyone else rushed. Problem solving through stillness. Problems appear bigger in noise, but in silence, they shrink into manageable pieces. When you step back from the chaos and let silence calm your nerves, the mind begins to work with precision. Instead of panic, you see patterns. Instead of confusion, you see options. Instead of fear, you see opportunity. This is why Napoleon Hill taught that every adversity carries with it the seed of equal or greater benefit. But you can only find that seed in silence, never in panic. How silence tunes you to wealth frequency. Think of your mind like a radio. If you are tuned to noise, gossip, complaints, fear, you miss the broadcast of opportunity. But when you quiet the noise, you tune into the frequency of wealth ideas, creativity, and solutions flow naturally. Many miss their moment because they are distracted. But the silent man sees openings others ignore. He invests when others hesitate. He acts while others argue. He builds while others complain. Practical habits for mental clarity. 1. Morning silence. Begin each day with 10 minutes of quiet reflection before checking your phone or engaging the world. 2. Decision retreats. When facing a big choice, withdraw briefly from noise. Take a walk, journal in silence, or meditate. 3. No reaction rule. Never decide in the heat of emotion. Let silence reset your mind before making choices. 4. Think on paper, in silence. Write down your options. Seeing them clearly reduces overwhelm and reveals the best path. 5. Limit inputs. Reduce unnecessary information and voices. Guard your clarity as you would guard treasure. Vision beyond the noise. History remembers men not for how loud they spoke, but for the clarity of their vision. While the crowd shouted, they thought. While others reacted, They planned while others hesitated. They acted with calm certainty. The silent mind sees beyond the obvious. It sees opportunities hidden in plain sight. It recognizes wealth where others see problems. It creates solutions while others complain. Silence clears the fog, sharpens your focus, and reveals the opportunities others are too distracted to notice. The man who masters silence becomes the man who always seems lucky, not because fortune favors him, but because clarity allows him to see what others miss. Silence is more than the absence of sound. It is the presence of something far greater, a portal into wisdom, clarity, and divine connection at its highest form. Silence becomes spiritual. It is not just a pause from noise. It is the pathway to infinite intelligence, the universal source of guidance, creativity, and power that has been available to mankind since the beginning of time. Those who learn to enter this sacred silence discover a secret. The answers you have been chasing were never outside of you. They were waiting within. Why most people miss the voice of infinite intelligence? The average man cannot hear divine guidance, not because it is absent, but because his world is too loud. His mind is flooded with endless chatter, doubts, fears, distractions, the opinions of others. He runs from task to task, scrolling through trivialities, talking more than he listens. And yet, the truth is simple. Infinite intelligence is always speaking. It does not shout. It whispers. Its voice is soft, calm, and clear, but you can only hear it in stillness. That is why silence is not weakness, it is access. Think of a radio. If you are tuned to the wrong frequency, you hear static. But when you align to the right signal, the music flows clearly. In the same way, when your mind is cluttered with noise, you only hear static, but in silence, you tune into the frequency of infinite intelligence. Ideas appear, insights emerge, solutions reveal themselves, silence builds. Faith noise breeds doubt, silence breeds faith. When you are constantly exposed to the world's voices, you begin to believe their lies. You're not ready. You're not enough. You will fail. These voices are loud, but they are not truth. Truth speaks in silence, in the quiet. You realize that you are guided, you are capable, you are chosen. You are not a beggar hoping for scraps. You are a creator designed to manifest vision. Faith is not merely belief in what you cannot see. Faith is trust in the voice you hear in silence, even when evidence is absent. That is why the greatest leaders, inventors, and builders all protected time for silence. They knew their strength did not come only from effort, but from alignment with infinite intelligence. Their quiet moments produced bold moves that changed history. Universal laws revealed through silence. The universe operates by law. The law of gravity does not care if you believe in it. It functions regardless. The same is true for the laws of success. Faith, persistence, definiteness of purpose, imagination. But here's the catch. You cannot recognize or apply these laws when your mind is chaotic. Silence slows you down enough to perceive the patterns. In silence, you begin to see that thoughts are seeds. Each one produces fruit, good or bad. Emotions are magnets. What you feel repeatedly, you attract. Beliefs are blueprints. What you accept as true, you build into reality. This understanding rarely comes in noise. It comes in silence. Silence as communion with infinite intelligence. Napoleon Hill described infinite intelligence as the invisible power that responds when man aligns his thoughts with faith and definiteness of purpose. Religious men may call it God. Scientists may call it intuition. Philosophers may call it higher consciousness. Whatever the name, the experience is the same. When you enter deep silence, you feel guided. You sense answers before they arrive. You feel peace even when circumstances look unstable. You receive flashes of insight, nudges of direction, and ideas too perfect to have come only from your limited reasoning. This is not coincidence, it is communion. How to align with infinite intelligence through Silence 1. Sacred morning silence. Begin each day with 10-20 minutes of stillness. No phone, no conversation, no rush. Just sit, breathe, and invite guidance. This practice aligns your mind before the world has a chance to shape you. 2. Ask, then listen. When facing a decision, ask silently, what is the right step? Then stop searching and listen. Answers may not arrive instantly, but they will come through intuition, through a sudden thought, or through a pattern you notice later in the day. 3. Detach from noise. Noise does not only come from sound, it comes from gossip, fear-based media, or the company of negative people. Protect your mental gates. What you allow in will either cloud or clarify your connection to infinite intelligence. 4. Write in silence. Keep a journal where you record the thoughts that surface in your quiet times. Many of the world's most successful men built fortunes by capturing ideas whispered to them in silence. 5. Close the day in silence before bed. Release worries and reaffirm trust in divine timing. Silence before sleep allows your subconscious mind to receive instructions from infinite intelligence while you rest. The evidence of alignment. When you align with infinite intelligence, life begins to flow. Opportunities appear without strain. People cross your path at the right moment. Solutions arise where you once saw obstacles. This does not mean life becomes free of problems. It means your relationship with problems changes. Resistance becomes refinement. Delay becomes preparation. Rejection becomes redirection. You no longer panic. You pivot. You no longer collapse. You create. The aligned man moves with calm authority because he knows his outcome is already secured. The silent confidence of great men. Consider history's great builders: Andrew Carnegie, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford. They were not the loudest men in the room. They were thinkers. They valued reflection. They knew that the world rewards not the man who speaks most, but the man who hears most in silence. Their innovations were not products of noise, but of clarity born in stillness. They practiced silence not as luxury, but as necessity. And because of this, they aligned with ideas that transformed entire industries. You, too, you can walk this path if you dare to discipline yourself into silence. Silence as power, not weakness. The world often confuses silence with passivity. In truth, silence is strength under control. Anyone can shout. Anyone can react. Few can stay still. Hold their peace and let infinite intelligence speak first. When you master silence, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, you are fit to master circumstances. Living in silence without withdrawing. This does not mean you must retreat to a monastery. Silence is not about abandoning the world. It is about conquering it with a clear, focused, divinely guided mind. You can practice silence in a crowded city, at your desk, in your car. It is less about the environment and more about the state of your inner world. You carry silence with you as a shield, as a compass, as a source of unshakable strength. Silence is not emptiness, it is fullness. It is the bridge to infinite intelligence, the source of all wisdom, wealth, and divine guidance. The man who learns to cultivate silence does not walk alone. He walks with guidance. He builds with precision. He decides with confidence. He becomes unstoppable, not because he knows everything, but because he is aligned with the one who does. Pause for a moment and let this truth sink in everything you desire. Clarity, peace, wealth. Influence is already within you. You don't need more noise, more chaos, or more doubt. What you need is silence. Silence to hear your own power. Silence to connect with infinite intelligence. Silence to align your mind with the vision you were born to create. You are not here to drift through life like a leaf in the wind. You are here to stand tall like a mountain calm, unshaken and unstoppable. And that calm strength is born in silence. From this moment forward, make a decision. You will not be ruled by noise. You will not let distractions steal your destiny. You will master silence. And in doing so, you will master yourself. And the man who masters himself is destined to master his circumstances. The time is now. No more waiting. No more hesitation. Begin today. Wake up tomorrow and claim 10 minutes of silence. Write your vision. Declare your purpose. Align with infinite intelligence. Then act with boldness as if your success is already secured, because it is. And remember, every moment you spend in silence is an investment in your future. Every decision to stay grounded, to listen deeply, to move with intention, these choices compound into wealth, influence, and a life that inspires generations. This is your turning point. This is your awakening. Step into the silence and let the world see the power of a man who is connected, disciplined, and unstoppable. If this message lit a fire in you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Together, we'll build a community of thinkers and builders who master their mind, master their silence, and master their future. Your best life is waiting. Claim it now. The world needs your voice, but first, it needs your silence.